Hello everyone, today's video is on 10 tips and tricks that have helped me out climb up the ranks in Valorant. My peak is Immortal 2 and I am currently Ascendant 3 because I travel and stopped playing for a couple months. These tips and tricks I have learned over the time playing and I consider them to be very useful. Also, they are not like other videos which their advice is like practice deathmatch for an hour, learn how to use the sheriff and so on. Anyway, let's get on with the video. The first advice of this video is actually a setting that allows us to switch between walking and running but just pressing shift one time instead of having to hold it down. If we go to settings, then controls, and then actions, under the movement section we will see some option that says default movement mode and we have to set it on running. Above it we will see the option to toggle walk. We want to set that to on. Once this is done, we just have to press the shift key one time and we will be either sprinting or walking until we press shift again. The second trick of this video is about the sound circle. This is a radius around our character that we can observe on the minimap when we are running. Everyone inside this radius can hear our footsteps and reloads, and yeah, you guessed it, anyone outside it cannot hear us. Another use of the sound circle is that it gives us the exact distance we need to be from the spike to avoid dying from the explosion. In other words, if you can see the spike icon outside the radius, you are fine. But if it is inside, well, you are not fine. The third trick is quick and simple. If you spray through smokes with a Vandal, the enemy will be able to see your bullets and track them to guess your position in the smoke and he will be able to kill you. On the other hand, if you spray with Phantom, there are no bullet tracers and the enemy will not know where you are shooting them from. This might be a controversial one, because I know a lot of you will tell me, "What do you mean, bro? I only play Jet, I cannot play smokes." Okay, you are right. It is way better to play something you feel comfortable with than experimenting and ruining the match for you and your teammates. What I mean by playing different agents is that you must have a couple choices of agents that you like to play in certain maps. For example, personally, I like playing Omen in Haven. Sunset, I can play Race. In Lotus, I use Clove. Icebox, I can play Chamber or Viper, even Harbor. You see what I mean now? I have fun playing those agents, and yes, while certainly you can play Reyna in every map, as you're climbing up the ranks, you start to find out that playing different roles is also fun, and that maybe you're very good with some of them depending on the map. I think this is a no-brainer, but I will say it anyways, because mostly in low elo lobbies, but also high elo sometimes, people just don't like to force buy after winning the first round, and this is a huge mistake, because it is an unwritten rule that if you win the first round, you must force buy the next one to make sure you win it as well. With more eco than the enemy, this allows you to buy better weapons and some shield, while they are running on 100 HP and a classic, so almost 99% of the times, whoever wins the first round will also win the second one. This trick might be a little bit more complicated than the other ones, but only because you need a little bit of practice. We have all been stunned at least once, either by a breach or a neon or even a skystar, but there is a trick to kill them when they push you. Chances are that if you get stunned by the enemy, they will give that info to the closest player and they will push you. All you need to do is to crouch, place your crosshair at head level, Aim a little bit to the side, and as soon as you see them, you shoot. Not before and not after.
22, Clove. Uno atrás.
Viénete.
This word of advice goes specifically to the people that play Clove. With her release being the latest and making her the most aggressive controller, a lot of people are choosing to play her over the other controllers, even though her smokes are the ones with the least duration of fall. But if people are playing her anyways, at least learn how and when to use her ult. In my experience with Clove, I have learned 3 main key points when using your ult. First, you don't always have to use it. If you pick long and got killed by a Jett using an operator, there is no need to revive there, because the enemy will just hide from you at that distance, or worse yet, the enemy Jett will hold you with her op and kill you again. Second, having your ult doesn't mean you can double kill like Brain did. You can be more aggressive, but that doesn't mean you have to lose your intelligence. And lastly, you decide when to get out of the dismiss of the ult. After you get out, the timer of your ult starts, so be mindful of this. If your enemy is further away from you, you might want to keep it until last second, but if they are distracted or with their melee out, you might want to jump out instantly. Pre-aiming angles is a crucial mechanic that every good player needs to have. It doesn't only helps you to clear angles better, it also gives you a higher chance to kill the player holding it. It goes without saying that not every single time you will get the frag. It can also happen that the enemy that is holding has the reaction of a robot, a bigger gap difference between their ping and yours, or he just had better timing. But the reality of things is that these are the exceptions. So, if you master this mechanic, you are adding to your arsenal as a player, and overall you are improving. Eventually, pre-aiming and also pre-firing will become second nature, and you will just do it as you go. This advice is very straightforward, but I have to mention it because I see a lot of players that ignore the minimap. The minimap is not just a map, it also tells you the position of the enemy players that have been seen. For example, when jump peeking, even if your eyes did not catch a player, the game did, and if somebody was there, you will see their icon on the minimap. This makes things easier by giving you the information of every enemy player. And it is easier than to hold angles or to retake a site or entering a site where you know you have the numbers advantage. The last advice I have for you guys in this video is to tell you not to be afraid of making risky plays or listening to your gut. By saying this, I mean that we don't always have to play by the rules. And don't get me wrong, I am that type of player that loves to do book plays and that believe there are certain guidelines or formulas that if you follow them correctly, they will always lead you to the same result. For example, how to play eco rounds or how to counter the enemy when they have better guns than you are saving, and so on. These guidelines or so-called formulas, they help you out on about a 75 to 80% to win if they are correctly executed. The other 20% left is simple and pure talent and adaptability. It's those moments that you know you can make a play, but your teammate is on their mic telling you, do not push, stop flanking, stay there, don't go, etc. A lot of the time, it is good to play in sync with your teammates, but if you are confident in your skills and you know the play you will make will go right and get the advantage for you and your team, when you win the round, the same teammate that was telling you to not push will congratulate you and thank you for not listening to him. In conclusion, Do not be afraid of listening to your own instinct. I mean, after so many hours playing this game, you are developing your own game sense and can predict how the enemy is thinking in either defense or attack. If you can anticipate, you will always stay one step ahead. Whenever you have those thoughts, listen to them. And if your play went right, remember this video and come back, leave me a comment telling me what was it that you did. Well, that is all from me. I hope you found at least one of these tips and tricks useful, and if you have any recommendations of other advice or what would you like to see in this channel more of, please let me know in the comments. You would help me out a lot if you could leave a like and hit that subscribe button. I know there are a few of us, but I am confident that with your help we can one day become something bigger. That is everything from me. I will see you in the next video. Adios.